Avon Bat Group's all about conserving bats in the Avon area, which is from South Gloucestershire down to North Somerset, Bristol, obviously. And we go around, sort of try and find out where the bats are living, where they're flying and roosting, and try and help protect habitats. We come out and do educational talks to teach people all about bats. We'll go out and research bats, put bat boxes up to monitor the populations. We've got licenses to catch bats.
They're quite mysterious to a lot of people, and there are some misunderstandings about bats. You know, some people are like, "Ooh, bats, they go in my hair, they're blind, they're scary." Well, they're not really scary, they're definitely not blind, and unless you're having bats that you're hand rearing in your house, they won't go in your hair. And they use echolocation, they use sound, they generate sound. Most bats in the UK do it in their mouths, some make it out of their noses. And they make a beam of sound and it hits objects and bounces back to their ears, and then what they do is they use that information to make a picture using the sound, so they know what's going on in the environment, they know where each other are, they know where the trees are, and they know where their food is. We have a bat detector here, which is, you know, a good way of going out and just finding what bats you've got in the garden.
So we can use bat detectors to be able to hear the bats. So we go out and do bat walks with bat detectors, and people can come out on a bat walk with us. And we show you how to use bat detectors. You get to listen to all the bats as they're flying around here in the echolocating.
And you know, you can buy one for around £50 to £70. If it's any more than that, you're probably being ripped off, so don't buy it. But if you're local, then if you're a member of the library, or if you're not, you can join for free. South Gloucestershire libraries do bat audio drills, and you can actually go in, borrow a bat detector for a couple of weeks. My husband Stuart here has got a lovely app on his Android phone, which he thinks is great because I've got an iPhone. I've got a speaker for mine, but I forgot it, so I'm going to ask if Stu can just play a couple of echolocation calls so that you'll know what they sound like.
So you can download this for free off for an Android phone, and basically it's got all sorts of cool photos and videos of bats on here. But the really useful thing is, before a bat walk, you can have a listen to this and get your ear into what the different bat species sound like. So you know what to listen out to on the bat detector. You pick up all sorts of ultrasonic noise on the bat detector. So just quickly going through some of the ones you're likely to hear. So the pipistrelle bat. So they're doing this noise. We can't normally hear this. This is too high frequency for us. We can hear up to about 20 kilohertz. The bats are doing their calls from around about that up into the hundreds. So we can't normally hear that. Apparently it's the same. It sounds the same level as if you had an electric drill going. That's how noisy it is. It's just it's too high frequency, so we can't hear it. I think that's quite amazing. So basically the bats are flying along. They're flying along, going did it. Those calls are going out, they're bouncing off all sorts of things, coming back into the ears. The big objects like walls and trees that the bats want to avoid colliding into make nice big low frequency echoes that come back into the bat's ear, and it knows that's a big thing it wants to avoid hitting.
In the UK, all bats in their roosts are protected because they only have up to one baby, like the maximum they'll have really is one baby a year. Some years they don't breed, and their roosts are protected because, you know, if you disturb the bat when it's breeding, they might lose all of those babies because they all roost together in big maternity colonies.
Any of your houses right now could have a little bat living up in the roof somewhere, and you wouldn't necessarily know because they're not making lots of noises you can hear.
In the UK, all our bats that are native eat insects, so they'll be flying around various different habitats. They do like woodlands, and some bats really like ancient woodlands, like barberstells, and other bats really like foraging over water. Like if you see a bat hugging close to a river or a lake, flying around in circles, it might be a Dorbenton, it probably is.
So the little bats are hanging up on the clocks. This is how this is what they're doing all the time during the daytime. They're normally asleep at this time of the day, and they're hanging up. So yeah, sometimes people think they keep the wings close to their body.
It's so cute.
Can you see there's two of them there? Because sometimes people look at them and think there's only one.
Oh, there is only one, isn't there?
No, there's two. They're so tiny. They are sitting, touching bums. Bats flying all around here at night time, people just don't realise they're here. They're flying around the downs, they're flying around all Clifton, so any time you're out for a night out in Clifton, going around the pubs and the restaurants, you've got big bats like David flying around above you and you've got no idea they're there.
Is that one bat?
This is one, yeah, this is David.
Is he a boy or girl?
David's a boy. Yeah. So I'll just bring David around so you can have a look at David.
And another bat we get around in the gorges, we get horseshoe bats. And just in case you're wondering, we've got information leaflets there that you can help yourself to. And the horseshoe bats, some people have been going around doing surveys looking to see if they can find their hibernation roosts. And there are still some here, so that's quite exciting.
So, me and my wife Kiri and Ashley has joined us now. We're running a bat hospital up in Fish Ponds. And basically, just like the RSPCA in Secret World, you can phone us up via the Batting Station Trust helpline as bat experts, and we'll come out and rescue injured bats and sick bats and baby bats. And you might be, if you see his wings, you might be able to see what I meant by that they don't stick out beyond his face. So this is one of the things when we get baby bats coming in and very young bats. This is one of the things we're looking for, is to see how long their wings are. Because quite often we can just take one look at the length of the wing and know that that baby bat's still too young to be able to fly. When they're first born, their wings are very small and stubby. It takes about 3 or 4 weeks until the wings get big enough to even be able to support them flying. So a lot of time people are rescuing baby bats in sort of like late July, August, when they're starting to fly. They find them on the ground and they think that they can just release the bat. No, we never let anybody touch our bats. If anyone ever rescues a bat, we always tell people not to handle them without protecting their hands, because there has been a few small cases. UK is officially rabies free, but there's been a very few small cases of bats being found where they have got rabies. So we always ask people to protect their hands when we don't want people getting bitten by the bats.
Being caught by a cat, or sometimes we get orphan bats and we can't get them back to their mums. Brian, we hand reared him in 2013, and for some reason he can't seem to fly. He flies around in a sort of circle like a sycamore leaf. Doesn't really get very far. Lands on the floor looking a bit confused. So we've actually got 5 pipistrelles and a couple of serotins. Some of you might have seen David this morning. But we keep them in much bigger boxes than this. We keep them in dog kennels, fabric dog kennels. So they've got a lot of room to move around. We give them different logs and things so they